Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brian Mello with Marty's Buick GMC and Chevrolet, and in today's video, we'll be looking at what I think is most likely Chevy's next-gen 2025 Malibu, and asking the all-important question of this series, would you buy one? So let's get into it. Alright, so today we're talking Chevy Malibu, a mid-size car manufactured and marketed by Chevrolet from 1964 to 1983, and then resurrected in 1997 in its fifth-generation form. The Malibu has come in almost every body style range you can possibly imagine.
The roomy and practical Malibu 4-door. Also available is the 2-door coupe. The family friends Malibu station wagon.
Whether it be a 4-door sedan, a 2-door sport coupe, convertible, and yes, even a station wagon. Now, after the 5th-gen Malibu ended in 2003, we entered into the 6th generation, eventually bringing us the super powerful, ultra-performance Malibu SS, which produced an eye-watering, face-melting 240 horsepower out of its 3.9-liter V6 engine. And I'm not sure how many of you remember this gem right here, the Malibu Max SS, but yeah, that was a thing too. Now, for the 7th generation, Malibu was extensively redesigned, as Chevrolet at this point was determined to make the nameplate competitive with its Japanese competitors. The 7th gen, believe it or not, actually received quite a bit of praise from the automotive press at the time, with the New York Times referring to it as being, quote, like a Super Accord, but from GM. Car and Driver magazine declaring Camry beware, and even Motor Trend rated it higher than the Honda Accord and Nissan's Altima in the 2008 Car of the Year competition. Much of this press, in my opinion, is what helped the redesigned Malibu increase sales by 50% in 2008 over 2007 and increased GM's midsize market share to 8.4% from 5.7%, which is a huge number. Now, in 2013, the Malibu not only entered its 8th generation, but it also became a global vehicle, being sold in nearly 100 countries on 6 continents. Fast forward to today, and we have the 9th generation Malibu, which was first unveiled on April 1st of 2015 and launched, of course, as a 2016 model. Now, over the past few years, there's been quite a bit of speculation as to what Chevrolet's plan was when it comes to the Malibu, with many assuming that Chevrolet would probably just discontinue the model after pulling it from production for 9 months in 2021 due to supply chain issues, while of course the company prioritized more profitable vehicles like trucks and SUVs. And this conclusion doesn't seem like a crazy one to come to, especially when you consider Ford has already done away with their sedans, and as we know, Ford and GM, they kind of follow each other. However, even when we consider the slowing of sedan sales in favor of SUVs and crossovers and things like that in the US market, the Malibu is still holding up relatively well. To put things into perspective for you, for 2022, the Malibu placed 4th in the midsize car market segment, selling just over 115,000 units. That's not too shabby. But what does the future of the Malibu look like? Will GM actually discontinue a nameplate that's been around since the 60s? Well, maybe, but here's what I think. In November of last year, General Motors revealed this, the FNR XE concept at the General Motors China Tech Day. This is actually the first Ultium-based GM vehicle to be unveiled in China, and for those wondering why FNR, well, FNR is short for the brand's tagline, Find New Roads. X is a nod towards GM's exploration of new ideas, and the E, well, I think we all know what the E means at this point. Now, although this vehicle is of course revealed in China and for the Chinese market, if GM does decide to stay in the sedan game here in the United States, I think that this concept would make the most sense, along with that Malibu nameplate. They're obviously not going to name it the FNR XESYWX3 squared. Looking at these photos released by Chevrolet, it certainly appears to be that compact to mid-size range, which would potentially make it a great candidate to go toe-to-toe against Tesla's Model 3. And as far as the design goes, this certainly seems to be a much more aggressively styled sedan than what we currently have with the Malibu, and believe me, that's not a complaint at all. I actually really like this two-tone color scheme with the black top, and if we look at the side profile right here, the front-end silhouette gives me a lot of muscle car vibes, more specifically, of course, being the Camaro. The long slanted, almost fastback design on the rear made me wonder at first whether or not this could potentially be released as a hatchback. However, on closer inspection, these trunk lines here, yeah, I think those may have debunked that idea, but anything can still happen. The full-length LED brake light reminds me, and you guys are going to kill me for it, believe it or not, the Porsche 911. And when it comes to this car's interior, I could actually only find a single photo off a Chinese automotive blog from the Tech Day event, and from what I can see, this thing looks very, very futuristic. It looks like we do have a big display protruding from the dash and extending across its full length, but more importantly, the steering wheel, which has a very similar yoke design to what we've seen inside newer Tesla models. I know, like, some people are going to hate that. I get it. But with all that said, it's time to answer the all-important question of this series. Would you buy one? For me, a sedan over a truck or SUV just doesn't make any sense. So as much as I can appreciate a good quality sedan, they're just really not for me. But that's not to say that many others out there wouldn't love something like this. And I would like GM to at least have one sedan offering. In my opinion, GM either gives the Malibu the axe here in the US or brings this to the US market with the Malibu nameplate, but only time will tell. As always, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you made it this far into the video, if you could do me a huge favor by just smashing that like button, subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Check out my friends over at martysparts.com for all your GM OEM parts needs, and I will catch you all in the very next episode. Thanks again, and take care.